We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Welcome to the DotCast from NineDots. NineDots is the online learning community for wedding photographers. You can become a member and find out about our annual conference, the NineDots Gathering, at nine-dots.co.
Hey there, world. How you doing? It's Andy Gaines here. I'm joined today by my good friend Adam Johnson.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, amigo. Happy New Year. Now, for those of you familiar with the NineDots podcast, we would normally have our good friend Rahul Khona, who is still alive. He hasn't died, but he is not here today because he is enjoying some well-earned family time and he's away on holiday. But it's exciting because in place of Rahul Khona, we've got a very good friend of ours who's here to join us today. Adam Johnson, please tell me about our good friend who will be joining us.
Well, we're joined all the way from the distant land of Rotterdam in the Netherlands by a good friend. And she was a presenter at the 2019 NineDots Gathering. We've long time been an admirer of her and her work. And it's welcome to the NineDots DotCast. Please remember to call it that, Andy Gaines. The DotCast. It's Isabelle Hattink. Hi, Isabelle.
Oh, hi, hello. How?
Hey.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year too, and thank you for introducing me and that I can join the podcast. Nice.
So I've got a question for you straight away.
Yeah.
That is there anything unusual that people in the Netherlands do for New Year's?
Well, yeah, they jump into the sea at New Year's Day, the cold sea. Yes, that's. I don't know if you do that in England, but it's
No.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We don't do that in England.
Yeah. It's just if you drink enough, you don't feel it. I think so. But with I don't know, thousands of people, it's every night. It's a tradition on New Year's Day. Yeah. So
Wow.
pretty.
Did you do that? Did you do it this year?
No way. No, I'm not doing those things. Yeah. Well, it could be if I was drunk enough, but I it's never came up to me in my mind to do that.
No. Is that a thing like at midnight, at the stroke of midnight, or is that on the next day? Like
Next day in early morning. Yeah.
and you guys are still drunk then, so that makes it okay.
Yeah, I think so, but not everybody's drunk. It's really a Dutch tradition, so whole families are doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, the trouble is, if we did that in the UK, there'd be a lot more skin disease in the UK. So that's probably why we don't jump in our sea. It's just because it's filthy.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same sea, dude.
Oh.
Just connected with some, water.
But I've heard we pollute ours. Maybe that's just in Blackpool. I don't know.
Yeah, at your side of the country, it could well be.
Fine. Yeah. So yeah, but anyway, it's the new year. It's 2020. How are we feeling about 2020, Andy Gaines?
I mean, it started off well. We've only had a day so far, so that's good. It's my my problem is it's my first day back in my office after having a break for winter for Christmas, and I haven't turned the heating on, and it's literally freezing. So I'm not so happy about that element of my particular New Year so far. But other than that, I'm good and I'm ready to go. And I've got a couple of weddings to edit from Christmas. I shot some Christmas weddings, and then I've got a good break before the next one begins in
Nice. Nice.
end of March or April. So yeah, that's good from that point of view, because it's always nice to
How about you, Isabelle? Isabelle, how are you feeling about 2020?
Oh, I feel good. Well, I didn't work yet in 2020. This is first chat about photography. So, I have new plans, and I don't have a lot of assignments in the first 3 months, and after it is going to be busy. So I was planning to do my website, administration, and just take a good look at my business the first months. Yes.
Yeah, good. Well, that's what we're talking about, I guess. Really. So do you use the new year for that reason? Do you look at your business and say, right, what do I need to change? What do I need to remove and to add in, or do you actually sit down and think about it?
Well, it's not because it's New Year, but it's most of the time that you have a lot of deadlines before Christmas, and you want to finish your year, to make a good profit or not at the end of the year. So it's more usual to start in January. It's low season for me, so that's more the reason, but not because it's the 1st of January or something. It's just that it makes sense to me to do this in this part of the year. If it was my low season in summer, I would do it in the summer. But yeah, that's not always. We have a lot of weddings. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly the same for me. I'm not a big resolution kind of guy, so yeah, I would agree. Like that's same. Yeah.
Andy, have you made any resolutions this year? Like in life? Have you made a New Year's resolution?
No, not really.
What about? I've got one for you.
Go on then.
Be kinder to Adam Johnson in 2020. No, I mean not that you've been unkind to me before, but I just think we could all do with being a little bit.
Okay, that's it. That's my first. Only to you though. I'm going to be kinder to you, but really far more unpleasant to everybody else that I know.
That's fine. I mean, I enjoyed seeing your daughter's New Year's resolutions, which one of them was be less mean to Ted.
Yeah,
brother.
Stop picking on my brother, and the other one was play more Lego. So, you know, I've got similar goals for 2020. Be kinder to you and play more guitar. That's my.
I thought you were going to say play more Lego. How about you, Isabelle? Do you make New Year's resolutions in your life?
Well, I did last year or for next coming up year.
Well, anytime.
Well, I did. I had some really rough years those years, but now it's more quiet, and I want to keep it quiet, no drama. That's my goal. And well, I also want to do more making more free work. Yeah, and in my personal life, no, it's just I have a good balance with my daughter, and I want to keep it like that, to be honest. So keep it more quiet. It was like very busy. All over the place here, so just keep it calm and nice, and doing nice things with her and with my family and friends. That's only my goal, in my personal life. Yeah,
that's interesting, Isabelle. Right? So, obviously, for a lot of the people who are going to listen to this will kind of know of you and your work and who you are and things. But obviously, you're an incredible photographer, a wedding photographer, and you also shoot other things kind of outside of weddings. And you've been a photographer, a successful photographer for a long time. So. Are you kind of happy now with where you're at in terms of your goals and your development? And obviously everyone always has areas they'd like to work on or improve at, and people they'd like to learn from. But I mean, like specifically, do you ever get to a point, not necessarily now at the start of the year, but just generally where it's like, I'd really like to get better at doing this, or I'd really like to improve my photography skills in this area? And like, do you feel that now do you have anything like specifically now and like specifically that you're interested in improving, or just are you generally like, you're badass and you can just chill out?
No, if there's no improvement anymore, I will quit. I just love it that you always can improve with photography. You keep learning always. And for me, it's not about skills anymore that much. I would prefer to learn a little bit more portrait photography. But to be honest, for me, it's like photography is like a mirror. And I like the stories behind it. So I want to make pictures of more stories. And I have an investigation for my free work about love. So I have people who are just falling in love and are getting into a divorce, and now I have somebody, her husband has been died. So it's like I want to not only weddings, but it's so much more. And I like to make pictures of the full circles, and I'm still investigating that. And it's just for my personal work, and it's more about the deeper layering in weddings also, about love. It's not only the photography we always talk about as photographers, but we making pictures of love, to be honest, like weddings. So that's why I want to go deeper in that aspect.
Yeah. No, I remember. Yeah, you spoke about that at the NineDots gathering. For sure, that resonated like with loads of people. So is that kind of personal work that's literally in your spare time, like when you can find the time? It's literally like a personal project.
Yes, it is, and I only do it with the people who get my attention to it. So I just choose the people myself. To make pictures of that, and I'm looking also in photography how they act, how their connection is, or what kind of emotions are on their faces. Also to learn about mimics, body language, about I don't know. It's just a good reflection. I just love people. It's not only photography that I love, but I also love people.
Yeah. I know that's amazing. We're all getting a bit tangential, like going off on a bit of a tangent now. But just about that kind of project, then, with a project like that, do you have any end goal for the images or the project or anything like that, or is it literally just to kind of satisfy an itch that you have, just for yourself, and you'll make these pictures and then that's it, there's no grand plan to kind of do anything with them or anything like that.
Well, my end goal is, I have some, but, I just want to make pictures of emotions, of people who have an emotional statement in their life. It's not, we hire people when we are having a celebration or something, but sometimes there are other important things in your life, and you also have to make pictures of, for example, when you wake up on Sunday morning with your family and have breakfast on bed, and and with all the animals on bed. I mean, this kind of particular things in life, I think people should hire people for this important things in your life who are not that huge as weddings or celebrations. Of important statements, events, or emotions, I would prefer to make more pictures of that. It's so difficult to explain this in English, but
yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's like
it's not only weddings. I also want to make pictures of people who are in an emotional statement of their life, but then as an assignment. So that would be more my goal, because I like to come close to people, but not only for weddings. And now is my free work, and I like to go for the future to just have it as an assignment or something, I think. Yeah. It's not totally clear for me. I just in the beginning of this project for myself, to be honest. So
it's really interesting though. Sorry, that all went off on a bit of a tangent there.
Yeah. That's really important though. Like we've always said that like being a wedding photographer is one thing, but at the root of it, you're just a photographer, and to get better at taking pictures at weddings, it's just about becoming better at photography. And I think you're dead right. Like so many people will set themselves goals to like maybe get better at flash or whatever it might be, like that's very technical and related to the technical scientific aspects of photography. But I don't think many people set themselves goals specifically to get better at the whole connection, the whole people side of it, the emotional side of photography, which for us, that's 90% of everything that we're really taking pictures of. And we probably very, very few of us ever really spend the time or the conscious effort in getting better at those elements of photography.
For sure. Yeah. And I think the it's a lot to do with where you are, I think, in your kind of career as well, though, isn't it? I think because when you start out, if you don't know those basic things of how to expose a picture or how to turn on a camera.
True.
No, but you know what I mean? So for the first few years, the stuff that like we've just talked about feels a lot less important and a lot less like pertinent to what you've got to do, because you need to be able to use your kit, and just the general being a wedding photographer and running a business. But once you start to get a handle on that, then I think a bit like Isabelle was just saying, to be able to keep pushing and learning and to kind of delve deeper and deeper and further into what being a photographer is about, is more and more important,
Yeah, it's more like developing your voice as a photographer. And I mean, what do you want to tell and show and say to your viewers, to the pictures who view to the people who see your pictures? It's like seeing people. It's not only learning skills, and of course, in the beginning, it's necessary, but on a certain point, you tell stories about people. But what is it what you wanted to tell? And I think everybody comes at a point that they also are asking themselves, what makes me so different as another photographer? What is what I wanted to show? Who am I, and who reflects this in my pictures? So I would recommend everybody to do an investigation about what they wanted to tell, and
that's so true, because just to kind of wrap this kind of little mini point up, I guess, is just that like I say, it doesn't seem that important when you're first starting out, because more important than that is that you learn how to use off-camera flash or whatever. But actually, let's say you've hit the nail on the head, Isabelle, which is that this, to be able to really get a good understanding of who you are as a photographer, is the one thing that's going to separate you from your competition. Like you're going to be able to do yourself, and your own voice and your own take is going to be the thing that sets you apart, and is going to be the thing which causes couples to book you over the next photographer. So to be able to kind of really understand that and, use that is a really powerful marketing tool as well as a photography tool,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So AJ, just
go.
So you seem big on like resolutions. Have you got like a huge list now on your wall of ways you're going to improve for 2020? Is it more so than be nicer to me and learn to play the guitar more?
I don't have a list, dude. I didn't say I had a list. I mean, I kind of like what, following on from what Isabelle said earlier, really. I think because most people hit this time of year and then see this big, like, open road in front of them. Because for me, I haven't got a wedding until May the 9th. So that's
the dream.
A long time. You know, that's a long time. That's this big, like, open space in front of me now where I can just breathe out and go, right, oh, man. For months and months and months, I've just been taking pictures and editing pictures and taking pictures and editing pictures and doing a bit of business and doing a bit of blogging, you know. And now all of a sudden, I think at this time of year, because of the way the season falls in the UK and in Western Europe, we have this break. We have this winter break. So and for me, it's like I manage my business to have this break. I don't really want to do shooting in January, February, December, ideally. For this reason. So it's not so same as what Isabelle was saying earlier, really. I don't think, it's the new year, like I have to change everything, and because it's January the 1st, I have to, totally reinvent my business or whatever. It's just that you get this break, and I always I really make a conscious effort to breathe out and go, right, what's working, what's not working, what have I been wanting to do, what have I been wanting to change. I don't necessarily make a list. I definitely don't make like New Year's resolutions in my life, although I've made a New Year's resolution this year.
What?
Do you want to hear what it is?
Desperately.
Well, it's quite deep and profound.
Oh.
Basically, I've developed an addiction to Pepsi Max Cherry, and I need to stop drinking so much Pepsi Max Cherry. So so my New Year's resolution is to stop drinking Pepsi Max Cherry. So there we go. So far I've only had one can today.
All right, so it's not going too well.
Well, I'm drinking what's left in the house, dude. I'm not going to waste it.
You're 2 days into the year, and you've already failed.
I had none yesterday.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, that's because I wasn't.
Baby steps, mate.
I was out all day. But so I'm not really big on New Year's resolutions. I want to generally, like I did a pretty good job of getting healthier and fitter last year, and I want to continue that. And I'd like to carry on playing tennis. Like I got into tennis last year, as you well know. I've made sure you've been aware of that.
Very aware.
And
maybe to be more successful at tennis might be a nice non-photography related.
No, I just want to play it, dude. It's all I do it for the love.
Excellent.
As you know. No, but in my business, I'm a bit more structured with it. So I will at some point take a look at my photography. And I was talking about this in the NineDots group the other day. Like there's things that I would like to add to my photography. I would like to have more movement in my portraits. That's one specific thing that'll be on my list for next year to kind of concentrate on. And there'll be other little things like that. I'll just probably spend some time looking at my work and thinking about my work. And when it comes to that wedding in May the 9th, or if I end up with one sooner than that, which is possible, then I'll have these things in the back of my mind that I know that I want to improve on, or whatever it might be. But just going a little bit back to what Isabelle was saying, like I would encourage anyone to do a personal project for the sake of doing a personal project, not for the sake of being a better wedding photographer, just for the sake of making pictures that you're not being paid for, because it's a totally different thing. Even if that is just when you go to this follows on a little bit from what we talked about last week, but when you go to, a family party that isn't a particularly big one, maybe it's just a little gathering of your family at one of your, I don't know, siblings' houses or something.
Yeah. Take
your camera and just make some documentary pictures of that, because just doing that and experiencing photography in a way that is more personal to you, and making pictures that are more personal for you, all of that stuff will make you a better wedding photographer just because you're doing it. And one thing with the like I was kind of asking Isabelle, but one thing with the kind of that personal work, like me as a person, I find it hard to find those kind of projects if I know there's no outlet for it. Do you see what I mean? So it's like, I know when I go to a wedding, I have to deliver some images because they're expecting images, right? But when there's no outlet for it other than, it's very hard to think, to even think like, why,
I heard this before, that more people have the problem. Like, I don't know what my personal project would be, but I I had no personal projects for years, and then sometimes it pops up, and I don't think there must be a personal project. Yes, it's good when you feel like doing it, but if there's no feeling like I want this, for me, it makes sense that my personal project is something that really is close to myself, to who I am. Just so I notice that I'm doing my full life. I'm making pictures of my personal life. When I'm walking with my dog, when I make pictures of my family. And that would also be my personal project, because I'm doing this since 20 years already. And then I thought, oh, this is also a personal project. Sometimes you're not aware of that you're already doing a lot of personal project nearby. And then you just have to take your interest, something that you already wanted to know in life. I mean, if music is gets your attention, some kind of music, you can look what it has something impact in something for you with photography. And it's just what has to take your interest, and sometimes you just don't know what's your personal project, and it's just that you need to investigate, and if you don't feel like, it's not a must. It really has to come out of yourself, I think, because if you think I must do a personal project because I must grow, I don't think it works.
No, it's
true.
something I struggle with for sure. Like,
sorry,
it's something I struggle with. Is that is exactly what you've just said? Yeah.
You can take some pictures of me next time we meet up, dude.
Okay,
I'll lay it.
You can be my personal project.
Oh, that I mean, that's a dream come true. Dream come true at the end.
Yeah, it would be hilarious if you all make pictures from each other all the time. Yeah.
We should, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's just. So, can we just stop talking about photography for a minute?
Yes.
Okay.
And talk about business, because that's just we always harp on about it with NineDots that. The business side of it is just as more important, if anything, because you need to stay in business to keep taking pictures. So, like Isabelle, are you going to have the same focus on your business this year? Like what are you going to improve on or change in your business, do you think?
Well, I want to change my website, but it's I'm not really a businesswoman. I'm more like intuitively. I don't know in English, intuitively. How do you say?
Yeah. Makes sense.
That it's I'm doing this now for 19 years, and I always have in mind what I should earn to survive. And I know kind of when it works, and I'm okay with that. And it always and in the first years I was struggling, like, help, maybe I have not enough assignments, but I know every year it will be all right in some way. And if I think about it like I want more assignments, then I don't know how I'm doing it, but it comes to me. I don't know how it works, but I'm not making a lot of effort for I'm also not somebody who schedule my Instagram. I just put a picture on Instagram at the moment how I feel with the words with it. So I'm more like, and sometimes I see somebody in the train. I had it in the train, and there was a nice girl, and she looks like me that she's going to marry. And I talked to her, and she booked me later on. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, well, I don't know. It's just like, for me, it's like, I'm not a businesswoman, like I give some special offers or what. It's just that I feel connection, or that I want to change a little bit in my website, and then I don't know. It's just
that's good though. I think there's some tips in there that maybe you don't realize are tips. But so I have this big thing, obviously, that in the last 5 years, definitely SEO, everyone acts as if SEO is the only way to get work. And I'm not saying everybody has to go and start ambushing people on trains like you do, but like just bringing that personal connection thing back into your marketing, whatever it is, whether it is wedding fairs. I know people like look down their nose at wedding fairs, but whether it's wedding fairs or whether it's networking with other local wedding businesses, I think one area that people can kind of like steal a march again on the competition is to realize that if we're all just putting all of our efforts into SEO and Instagram scheduling, we're all just doing the same things and we're all just competing in the same little world again. Whereas if you do take it out into the real world, back into the real world, like it used to be in the good old days before I even started in it, but then there's missed opportunities there for a lot of people, and I would say that would be probably for me, that would be one goal in my business, is to introduce a little bit of that back into my marketing.
Yeah, it's like 80% comes from mouth-to-mouth advertisement. So with me, and I really believe in it's not only our photography, but also we ourselves are the face of our business. So you have to be present as a person and connected with what you sell. So and if you just schedule everything and do it like everybody is doing it, you have to always give a personal touch about how you present yourself and doing your advertisements, I think. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense.
No,
I mean,
sure.
my favorite bit was you get most of your work from mouth to mouth, which in England would mean a totally different thing to what you meant.
Oh.
But, we'd say word of mouth, but it's fine. If you get your work by mouth to mouth, I mean, it's very unique.
Oh, really? Okay.
If I need any CPR or resuscitation,
Isabelle,
I'll inquire that Isabelle can shoot my wedding, and hopefully
exactly, dude.
She can come and sort me out before I die. Yeah.
How about you, Andy Gaines, though? Because I would say your transformation into businessman over the last 2, 3, 4 years has been quite astonishing. So
profound.
What's going to be happening in the business of Andy Gaines in 2020?
I don't think my transformation has been that astounding, but I'll take it. I mean, I guess just to clarify that, I suppose I used to be just for those people that don't know what you're talking about, I used to be very much, like Isabelle kind of said, very much non-business minded, and very much, I was very concerned about the craft of photography and making the art and being the photographer, and very much anti anything business, commercial, corporate, which I think stems from just being in punk bands and when I was younger. But yeah, so I've definitely changed over the last few years to really kind of embrace the business element just as almost a new skill to learn, Yeah. So it's not like I've really changed any kind of fundamental.
No, let me just quantify it. So I wasn't saying you were a bad business person before. I think you've always been. I think the change has more been that, like, you've always had a very strong business, that's for sure. But I think in the early days, your focus wasn't on that side of it at all, really, and it was almost.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just a byproduct, really, of the fact that you were Andy Gaines.
Yeah. No. I think that, yeah. So I've definitely embraced pursuing, like, being successful in business, but almost just as a new skill to, like you say, just to learn. And the main, again, from a kind of the cold hard point of view, is that it allows you to generate more revenue for doing less work. That's where it really stemmed from. So I guess as photographers, I mean, it may be different, say where Isabelle is, but in the UK, most of the time people, you would base how much you charge just on your full day coverage, right? So you would be charging 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 for kind of turning up and taking pictures. Yeah. But once you start to understand the business and how you can make more money from your business through things like albums and prints and the way you sell things and the way you sell things to your couples, suddenly you can keep those numbers relatively low, which makes you an attractive proposition to couples, but you can actually generate way more revenue per couple. So obviously the average take has gone up. So that's kind of what I've focused on really over the last few years. And that's kind of gone super well, and it's been good. So I guess for this year, just kind of, just continuing the same thing. So we've started offering a bit of video now. So that's going to be a little extra add-on to the photography thing. So we're going to push that a bit more this year. And but other than that, no, just similar really. Like just from a business point of view, just kind of really working on generating. You're
just gonna keep the Gaines juggernaut moving. Is that what you're saying?
just trickling forwards. Again, just shooting maybe a few less weddings, and which just gives more time to focus on, concentrate on the weddings that we've got and things like that. So nice. Yeah.
I guess my little business focuses with this year will be, I'd like to, similar to Isabelle, I'd like to refresh my website a little bit. It's been about 3.5 years since that had any attention. I'd also like to get just generally slightly better at ongoing client communication, just staying in touch with them and just in some way just keeping the conversation going in between the booking and the wedding. And there was one other thing that I've totally forgotten, but that's mainly print sales. I mean, it's kind of it's a hot topic obviously in NineDots because of your famous print sales video in the member zone. But it's kind of like I deregistered from VAT a year or so ago. We're not going to go into that conversation on this episode, but now there's enough breathing space between my turnover and the VAT limit that I can push print sales more and make the most of that kind of easy bonus income that can come from a well set up print sales process, I guess. So I'll be doing that in this year as well. Yeah,
I would say certainly just from like my like, I guess to people listening, like a huge tip with, like you just said there, is to increase as much as possible the communication you have with your couples, like across the board. Like that for me has been a massive thing over the last couple of years, and it just makes such a good difference from a business point of view, but also like it goes back to what Isabelle said, really. Like it allows you, if you become the closer you become to those guys, it allows you to make much better pictures of them, you know. So not only are you more invested in them, they're more invested in you, your pictures are better, your business runs better, you know, you become more attractive to them as a business. So yeah, like for everyone listening, definitely invest more time in the couples you've got before and after the wedding, for sure. Yeah.
And I also see that when I'm in the past, I was more interested in what kind of wedding they have, and if I'm more interested who they are, what kind of animals they have at home, or some simple things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking for the connection with the people themselves or how they met, but I never was like that, but now I am. I understand them better, and I don't know where they work, but I know everything about their family, and I can see those connections also better on the wedding. Understand why this family is how it is. Can make better pictures because I communicate better with them. Yeah.
Amen to that. Definitely. Huge. Yeah, huge. It's huge.
That's good. Yeah.
So let me ask, just before we stop and we're run over our kind of half an hour time limit that we set ourselves on these things. But let me ask you both one more question, which is that, like, one thing I'm going to be doing this year is trying to learn at least one new skill that is totally disconnected to photography or having a wedding photography business. So I'm going to be trying to get back into. I used to be a programmer, so I'm going to be trying to get back into programming just for the sake of it. Just to learn a skill that is different. And Andy talked about learning before and stuff. So are either of you going to be trying to learn something new in 2020? Don't all answer at once, will you?
I'll go in. So it's not entirely. Well, I've got two. Can I have two? One's not new.
You can have as many as you want.
So I started doing a lot more. I used to run a lot when I was younger, and now I started doing a lot of running this year, and I've injured my knee. So my first thing is I've got to fix my knee so I can keep going the running. So that's kind of new. But my main new thing that I want to do, completely new, is get some bees.
Amazing.
I want to keep some bees. I want to get a beehive.
That is of no surprise to me whatsoever.
Mate, I'll make you some honey. Wait, we're gonna get NineDots honey.
I don't doubt it. I was watching TV last week. This is funny. Like I was watching and he was not as cool as you, obviously, but there was a guy, and he was a famous cellist. So he used to play the cello, in case you didn't know what a cellist was.
Cheers.
And he basically makes beehives out of cellos, but there's like a transparent back on these cellos, so you can see what the bees are doing inside the cello. How cool is that?
Oh, that's gonna be my first beehive, I think.
A cello, or are you gonna go guitar?
I'm gonna make a guitar beehive and then keep bees.
I mean, I think I was watching it at first thinking, how long does he have to leave a cello there before the bees make it their home? It turns out beekeepers put the bees in there and like tell them this is your new home.
That's one way.
Yeah. So don't just put a guitar in the garden and hope that one day it becomes a beehive. You have to actually
every day watching it.
That's my tip for you obviously I'm a beekeeper myself.
Cheers for that.
What about you, Isabelle? Any plans to learn something new in 2020 before we finish?
Not particular. What I think the last month is I'm more discovering the artist in myself, like going to exhibitions, and I never loved that, but now I love it. But I always want to do a lot of new things, and that's my problem that I was planning not to do, because I went to go to dance classes and want to play some more music instruments, but for me, it's now more that I want to have balance. I want to sleep better because I get my inspiration at night. That's not, it's not so good. So it's like I want to have more balance this year. And if something new gets my attention to learn more skills, of course, yes. But I just don't. I was planning not to know that I don't want everything at the same time like I used to have. I have too much inspirations most of the time. So learning more skills. No, I don't have something new in my mind. Sorry, no.
That's fine. I mean, if you want, you can go and learn how to be a tattoo artist, and then you can come to the NineDots gathering 2020 and just tattoo everybody. How about that?
Yeah, that's a good idea. You bring me new inspiration.
Exactly. That's what I'm here for. Anyway, thank you both for being part of the first DotCast of 2020 of the new decade.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful, and
we are literally in the future.
We are. I'm going to just take my hoverboard and go back to the International Space Station. So I'll see you. Andy Gaines, I'll see you very soon. Isabelle, hopefully we'll see you very soon as well. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much for asking me. Thank you. It was very nice.
Yeah.
Andy Gaines, any wise words to close this one out?
Just be excellent to each other, and we'll see you very soon.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3. Listen.
You can listen to previous episodes of the DotCast anywhere people normally listen to podcasts, and you can find out more about NineDots membership and the NineDots gathering at nine-dots.co.